Over the course of 2 years, we've covered every imaginable top 10 or ranked video for ARK, from special abilities to poop animations. That, in celebration of 100 episodes of this series and a bow out to ARK Survival Evolved as we prepare for its remaster, we've tallied up the highest voted since we started to offer you the most popular choices in the most popular categories. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share around, and let's get into it. So in at number 10 with 23,000 votes, the best sea creature, a dominant entry for use underwater with very little else competing since this vote. The shallow adapting shock resistor still comes up trumps as your go-to deep diver. Found on any map bar the 3 oceanless offerings, finding one shouldn't be a difficult task owed to an army of mantas encompassing it, of which you'll need to kill or lure away to engage with the warm-blooded mammalian, passively feeding it exceptional kibble or raw mutton preferably, with a long waiting time for its second feed, but increasingly less each time with each subsequent feed. Relatively straightforward enough, providing you're equipped with scuba and prepared to fight off the attracting megalodons to each feed. Its biggest role offering a safe undersea travel, being immune to shocks from jellyfish and eels and grabs from Tuzos. Its extremely high health and melee damage can offer a tanky war machine in any aquatic fight, especially in shallow waters, possessing an underrated rapid regen ability. Whilst quick to recover up high, the adverse effect is health depletion down deep, inflicting damage consistently in high water pressure. Despite this, it still reigns as a great sea cave explorer, with plenty of time to not be concerned about health depletion, offering your rider incredible insulation, and take on the hardest to kill undersea, especially with a bred basilo and decent saddle, to farm as much biotoxin as you'll ever need without worry, and generate some cheeky oil on the side. In at number 9, with 24k votes for worst looking creature. When it comes to aesthetics, or rather lack of, whilst I'd argue there's much worse about, a lot of you agreed you can't stand the look of a thieving little biped. Arguably not too dissimilar from its artist impression counterparts, but even then, not exactly adorning the face a mother could love, it's also never a face you'll likely want to encounter in the wild. Emitting an infamous high-pitched shriek along most beaches or redwoods of almost every map, returns an item of choice from your hotbar being ripped away as it runs off with your precious loot. Simply countered with berries in the last slot of your hotbar can find you sometimes accidentally taming the aggressive herbivore, providing your own personal thief. Underrated seed gatherer by throwing it at berry bushes, but adorning your shoulder to constantly remind you how beautiful it is. Or maybe strike fear into your opponents with simply appearances. In at number 8, with 25k votes for best creature to breed for Mutations. They are the most laborious but rewarding mechanics offered in ARK, in which case, with months of work ahead of you, knowing which to mutate more can be an informed decision indeed, and no less recommended than the almighty king of meat-eaters, Gigantosaurus. Recently offering an in-depth guide to explain how to mutate properly, the joy with Gigas, despite one of the longest raising tames in the game, is how powerful they can become. A pretty rare find across 9 of ARK's maps, and a difficult tame without a trap and a whole wealth of trank snarks and exceptional kibble or mutton, despite when docile a much less ferocious version of its wild state, it still offers an incredible high base health stat and monstrous damage output that you'll want to level and level only. So much so becomes your only stat to desire to mutate, to make it a much more linear mutation process than others you'd work on health or stamina for, with the most knowledgeable breeders able to mutate even a low-level Giga to reward incredibly high damage output. Again, recommended to watch our guide on how to understand how to stack mutations. Anyone in for the long haul can find them mutating these into unstoppable killing machines. In at number 7, with 27k votes, winning Best Fjordur Tame. Voted at a time when Fjordur was fresh on the board, it's still agreeable that the flying bloodsucker is an absolute vital companion for any tribe looking to tame or breed. Found just as expected on Fjordur in a variety of caves across the map, requires a stack or 20 of blood packs in your inventory, gained through blood extraction syringes to allow the garlic-fearing bat to pick you up and drain each one until tamed. Recommended to aim for a low level first, owed to an excessive amount needed for higher levels. The bonus is, once tamed, with each attack will generate blood packs for you, and an even greater desire to farm for being one of the best items in the game. As well as its melee attack, the Desmodus is able to blast a scream effect, echolocating nearby creatures and enemies whilst scaring them away, offering an additional 20% damage to anything revealed at night, during which it can vanish into thin air and prevent detection, able to do so whilst latched onto a surface and able to pick up small creatures to drain and steal their health from. But its necessity comes in the form of crafted sanguine elixir. Able to craft once amassing 200 blood packs, offers a whopping 30% taming boost to any creature in progress and imprint any raising baby at the same amount. A 1 time per creature use mind, but nevertheless a huge time saving item you're misusing otherwise. Throw in some night vision on top, and it being the only flyer allowed in caves, combined makes it an absolute must for any tribe. In at number 6, with 29k votes, the best map. Noted to be cast at a time when Lost Island had just arrived and before later arrivals, it's definitely agreeable to see why this takes the top spot of one of the best maps to play, with the map maker themselves quoting it to be a 50-50 direct influence of both Tamriel from the Elder Scrolls series and the original island map. It instantly felt at home, with players yearning for a prehistoric primitive vibe not seen since the first one. Overgrown landscapes, huge ruined cities, deep, dense jungles, abandoned ships, lava pools, geysers, trenches and caves across the biggest amount of peninsulas in one map equate a beloved giant 150 square kilometre map brimming with adventure. The first free map to arrive with 3 creatures, all of which remain favourable tames. Its theme resonates with plenty of dino-loving survivors and remains an ever-popular one looking to take on its king of the Swinger Zoo. In at number 5, with 47k votes, your scariest creature. In a game with survival in the name, it's natural to expect a few scary jumps here and there, and through a range of creatures that provides, there's one that literally knows how to jump scare you. Found patrolling Rockwell's proliferation of Genesis Part 2, could be forgiven into thinking these to simply be giant floating tulips, then realizing their tentacle tails and ominous searchlights to realize once found will teleport into your face screaming bloody murder, with a collage of eyes all looking at you, setting in panic as you attempt to flee this flowery beast as it is. But it gets so much worse, hunting you down whenever you move, unable to be hurt or killed, owed to a temporary shield that needs you to wait for an opportune moment whilst hurtling projectiles at you and summoning an army of random corrupt creatures ranging from saddle kickoff Quetzals to incredibly fast Reaper Kings. after your first encounter will undoubtedly encourage a new fear as you try your best to avoid these, all the whilst bottling up a wince as you're never too sure if one is about to spot you. In at number 4, with 50k votes, what should be removed from ARK? A surprisingly favourable poll when it comes to distaste of certain creatures. Exploring perhaps less used mounts, your annoyance of one in particular came up trumps. A pesky irritation on almost every map, heightened more so owed to flocking around the beginner spawns, creating an already punishing start to new players even more punishing as you attempt to simply survive, to only hear the familiar flap and cry as one swoops down to take what's yours and eat it. Gone for good, your hard work farming. Thanks for that. At least weapons and gear are dropped instead, but a catalyst in confusion as you try to figure out where it was dropped. Once geared up, however, I'd argue they become less of an annoyance, with pretty low health and actually function as a unique tame able to hunt fish for you and buffing them to reward raw meat or prime meat, and more so help to tame a Hesperornis much quicker. Personally, I couldn't recommend them enough if going for golden eggs, but you want it gone, and will they be gone with ASA? I think I'd be ready for some disappointment. In at number 3, with 52k votes, your most annoying creature. The most votes in any one poll at any time. Annoyances appear to be your vice when it comes to ARK, and the screaming flappy devils come in spades to win this one. Found on every map but Aberration, their small stature causes to be unnoticed unless riding a mount nearby, to which you are guaranteed a pesky shoulder mount to fly in towards you, buzz around you, and stunlock you, dismounting you in the process and leave you open to the elements. Almost always seeming to be handpicked next to some harder hitting creatures, turns any redwoods run into a tense travel as you're left simply hoping you don't run into one. Though noted to be almost as useful if knocking one out, feeding rare flowers and using on other players, equipping one on your shoulder is your best bet to avoid a wild, or alternatively a Sinnoh to scream at, or just make sure your creature is on neutral. Nevertheless, most don't venture in preparation of Microraptors, so the very annoying annoyance will continue to annoy. In at number 2, with a combined 29,000 votes in Best Island Tame, 28,000 votes in Best Flyer, 24,000 votes in Best Weight Dino, and 19,000 votes in Best TLC Dino. Feeling somewhat overshadowed owed to ARK's final creature, it still can't be denied how beloved the giant bird of prey remains to be. An early arrival to the island would later see it refined and renewed to become a must-have flyer able to tame on every map in the game. Being a simple knockout preferring superior kibble, but tamed incredibly quick if abusing its health regeneration status, offers a tanky fighting utility weight Swiss Army Predator to accommodate a variety of uses. Equipping a saddle offers a mobile smithy to craft on the go with a fairly slow speed when soaring the skies, but able to pick and kill a wide variety of small to medium creatures, offering some ease to transport them too. Speaking of transport, offers an inherently decent weight stat with a variety of 50% reduction rates to black pearls, crystal obsidian, polystone, and more importantly, metal. Combined with its ability to pick up an Anki, has seen this the go-to metal runner for a very long time. Again though, perhaps superseded by later additions, a flock even with primitive saddles when leveled in health and melee, and considering its health regen effect gained from each kill, can become surprisingly strong opponents to any unwitting dino. But not the strongest vote. And before we get to that, let's take a quick look at the votes that didn't just quite make the cut. And in at number 1, with a combined 43k best map exclusive votes, 42k top deadliest pack creature votes, 25k most OP tame, and 22k best mammal, likely winning even more top 10s. The ever popular Lionfish Lion is a clear winner amongst many, because it ticks every box you look for in a creature. One of the most hardest tames around in my opinion, punishing you to source high weight fish, trap them in baskets, and then proceed to sneak up on your shadow mains to feed. The Gen 2 exclusive added to Fjordur later punishes you with an alarm system that can see your feeds lost to start a game, unless prepared well with stealth, tracking and hope. Though worth mentioning, there are traps recommended. But once owning a mate pair will become your go-to breeders to build absolute monsters equipped with natural armor that increases on level, incredibly agile and fast both on land and in water, the latter of which offers a hydration boost to jump and bound even further and faster around, chomping or swiping at anything in its way to switch into a heavy bite and increase a boost meter, to launch a devastating blow when full and rally between targets if killing on the overcharged bite, able to stun lock multiple targets at once, of which it can sneak up towards with its cloak ability, a move that can be massed across your entire company if riding a mate boosted female, and the male throws in even more, roaring to boost stamina and torpidity, increasing its own damage with a pack buff on top that doubles its Thor male damage, a reflective defense on anything that hits it, all combined to reason why it's won so many top 10s. A massive thank you for watching these top 10s. It's been an absolute blast to see what you enjoy in ARK, and I can't wait to see what Ascended brings. And if you want to see more for Ascended, make sure to hit that like button and comment what was your favourite top 10 of all time. My name's Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and as always, peace out.